Good morning. Mark. Guess what day it is?
It is Wednesday.
Hump day. Do you remember that commercial from back in the day?
I do with the big camel. Yes,
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 except for it was
yes.
Mike, but I feel like it works out with Mark too, right?
It
Like
did.
it goes. Yeah.
It
Okay,
absolutely.
cool. Well, happy Wednesday. How are we doing today?
We're good. We are refreshed, and we are watching lines flip, and people be on the right side of a number or the wrong side of a number, and it's going to get interesting over the course of the next couple of days.
Got a lot of math, a lot of numbers to get into. We're going to start it out with our NFL midweek line moves. We have the AFC and NFC championship games this coming Sunday. We've seen a lot of line movement with one of the games and a little bit with the other. We'll get into that. Then we'll talk about our Super Bowl odds at this point, which team we would be on if we agree or if we disagree. And then we have Bobby Stanley, Prof Holliday coming on to talk about the NBA slate for today. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's bet it. NFL midweek line moves. Let's start out with the 49ers Eagles game. The Eagles were 2.5 point favorites. Then it moved to two. Now it's moved back to 2.5 at some sports books. The total started out 46.5 to 45, back to 46.5. It's kind of crazy, like what we've seen from some of these games. Who do you think comes out on top of this Eagles Niners matchup? And do you feel like 2.5 is the right number at this point?
Well, you're seeing it as 2.5, and you're seeing a little extra juice being paid on that 2.5, and what you're looking at right now is a pretty dynamic split as far as the dollars on the spread side of thing, where about 90% of the spread money is on Philadelphia
Mm-hmm.
laying the 2.5 because the number sits there. Now, I would expect, at some point I think we did see this touch three for a moment and right back in. This is similar to what we saw last week with Buffalo and Cincinnati. Every time that number hit six, money came back in and pushed it back down to 5.5. And every time this hits three, you'll see money come in on the Niners and it'll push it back down to 2.5. So I think
Yeah.
the books are pretty comfortable right now, leaving it at a juice 2.5 for Philadelphia. And look, everybody's taking the home team here. Me personally, I locked in Sunday night, Lauren. I'll tell you this right now. We'll talk about this next game in a minute. But I locked in Sunday night and moved the Niners to 8.5 in a tease. The other side of that tease was Cincinnati now to 7.5 when they were plus
Mm.
1.5. So, the line is flipped in the other game. We'll get to that in a moment. But I think the Niners are the right side here. I'm going to back them. When you get to this point in the season, there's so much analysis because there's only two games to look at and everything is out there. You just, like I say, I almost like stop reading and stop looking at things. I do my own handicap and then turn out the noise and just ride with what I've got and hope that I'm on the right side here. I don't, I'm not going to look at it any other way. I'm not going against the 49ers defense. It's too good. And if this
So
total
good.
stays on, which is where I think it'll end up doing. I think this thing stays under. I don't think a lot of points are scored in this game. And again, you're under a key number of 47 with the total. I would tell you again that I think that San Francisco's the right side, and that's where I'm going to be all week.
Yeah, honestly, I'm on San Francisco too. I know a lot of people are going to be against me for that as well, but I just love what I've seen from their defense all season. I know Brock Purdy. I know I was watching a couple of videos of guys mic'd up on the San Francisco 49ers sideline, and they're like, he's pretty good. Pretty good. Did you see him like high step one time? They're like, no, he didn't high step. It was just really funny, but it really feels like this team is rallying around this guy. And yes, I know what happened when we saw him up against a really good defense, the Dallas Cowboys, but at the same time, Eagles defense, yes, they're good. They're not the Dallas Cowboys defense. I don't think he's going to be under as much pressure, as much duress as he was in the last game. And I also feel like, the offense was still able to hold it together. I like the 49ers to win this game. I'm taking them in the points in this one, but I feel like we're going to have a really, really good head-to-head matchup. The next one, the line completely flipped. The Bengals taking on the Chiefs. The line opened at the Chiefs laying 1.5. Now it's the Bengals laying a point and a half. It was the Bengals laying two till about 30 minutes ago. That line keeps constantly vacillating. That total opened up at 47 and a half, moved to 46 and a half. Now it's back to 47 and a half. So we've seen quite a bit of movement here with this line. Obviously, the fact that Patrick Mahomes probably not going to be 100% high ankle sprain. That's like one of the toughest ankle sprains you could have. And the fact that Joe Burrow, a lot of people had questions about their O-line in the last game. He was only sacked once. They ran the ball for like 170 plus yards. Their O-line looked great. it's a question of can they hold up again and how is Patrick Mahomes going to look? I feel like that was one of the big reasons that we saw the line flip here in this game.
Well, you saw the line flips just because of the Mahomes injury. That's it. I mean, look, there is a recency bias for Joe Burrow right now. Can I just add one thing real quick? Can we
Yeah.
like stop with the grandiose overreactions, both pro Joe Burrow and anti Josh Allen? Hey, guess what? They're both great. They're both going to continue to be great. And it's okay to acknowledge it as such. One doesn't have to be better than the other. Like, it's genuinely okay. We don't have to talk about the demise of Josh Allen and how the Buffalo Bills are regressing. Peyton Manning got knocked out of the playoffs 6 times in his first 8 years. 6 before
Yeah.
he made it to it and won a Super Bowl. So let's just relax with the Josh Allen falling apart, Joe Burrow's here to conquer the universe type talk. Okay, let's just pump the brakes on it just a little bit. Anyway, beyond all that, all this is centered around Patrick Mahomes' injury
Yeah.
and what he's going to look like. And guess
What
what?
he's
You're
going to
going to
look
hear
like.
tightly long. No one's going to say anything about it. You're not going to know till he gets on the field on Sunday. My guess is that Andy Reid, as good as he is, has devised a game plan that will allow Patrick Mahomes to do what Patrick Mahomes does as best as he can do on essentially what is one leg. He's going to be limited from a mobility standpoint. He's not going to be able to weasel out of things. He may end up taking more sacks here in this game. But my guess is the counter is that it's a lot of passes out of the backfield. It's some quick moves, some quick slants. And I would expect Travis Kelce to be open in the middle of the field a ton. I think they go to him early and often to loosen up the rest of the defense on the outside. But all this is what Andy Reid specializes in. So I
Mm-hmm.
took the points. As I said, when it was 1.5 and I can get Cincinnati to 7.5, I did it. Now, you could argue that, hey, Zeno, you got a better number. But I told people when I did this on Sunday night, I'm a little concerned. If the line flips, they go, why? That means you have a better number. I said, because I'd rather have the home dog at 7.5
Yeah.
than the
Yeah.
team at 7.5. So I understand that the people who waited, but genuinely, I think both of those teases are going to hit. Is this decided by more than a touchdown on either side? I would probably say
Yeah.
no.
I don't think
I
so. I
mean,
think it's going to be a field goal
three,
game.
4 point game either way. Like, you have to feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's the case. I mean, as much as Cincinnati has beaten the Chiefs in their last 3 outings, have they done so by more than a field goal or 4 points in any spot? No, no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going into Arrowhead and winning a football game is still really, really tough. I don't think the Chiefs are going to lose by double digits at home here. So I feel like I'm in a good spot with Cincinnati, and the idea that Kansas City could win by more than a touchdown against a team like Cincinnati that is healthier also seems a little bit hard to believe.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be very interested to see how this game plays out. We don't know what to expect from Patrick Mahomes. There's a beautiful thing called Toradol shots and tape, and I feel like he's going to have a lot of that running through, coursing through, and around his ankle. I honestly don't think that his mobility is going to be limited as much as we think it is because he's not really going to be able to feel his ankle at that point. It's going to be taped up so much and have so much Toradol running through it that I think that he's going to look like the Patrick Mahomes we're used to seeing, maybe a little bit, but I don't think he's going to be hobbling like we saw in that last game. They've
Paging
been
Dr.
doing so
Jabara.
much. What?
Paging Dr. Jabara. Paging Dr. Jabara.
I mean,
Well, he'll have so
I
much fun.
was.
He won't be able to do anything.
I mean, we don't know what that does. You can't even feel it. It like basically is like a miracle
Listen,
drug at that point.
I know what Toradol does. I've had it before. It's
Yeah,
quite
I know.
lovely. It does
It's great.
wonderful things.
But what I'm saying is I don't think his mobility is going to be as limited as we saw in the last game because obviously it just happened in that game. You can't give as much treatment. Like he's probably getting so much stim this week, so much treatment, and it is going to feel better. I mean, not and then once the season, he's just going to lay it all on the field. Then once the season's done, hey, stay off of it for a month and a half, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Let that thing heal, but put it all out there right now. That's going to be fun to see. I'm interested to see if the Bengals O-line holds up again, what that looks like, if any of those guys that were injured come back. We'll be seeing how all that plays out as the week goes on. Before we bring in Bobby Stanley, let's talk really quick about the Super Bowl odds. Right now, the Bengals, the favorite to win the Super Bowl at plus 240. Eagles right behind them, plus 270. Chiefs at 3-1. And the 49ers, last odds, plus 310. But all teams pretty close. Who would you take at this point? I know the value's been sucked out. I know earlier in the year. But if you had to bet right now who's going to win the Super Bowl, who would you take?
Oh, I take the Chiefs or the Niners at better than 3-1. Probably the Niners though, more than
Mm.
anything. Again, because of their defense. But again, here's the. I mean, the public just has rushed to back the Bengals at every turn. They're sitting here going, "Oh, well, they're going to beat the Chiefs because Patrick
It's
Mahomes
the
is
Joe
hurt." And
Burrow effect, Zeno.
it
The
is. I
girl, the
mean,
ladies love
Joe
him. The men love him. It's the Joe Burrow effect. I don't know what it is, but this guy is like a hold on all of the world at this point.
100%. I mean, 100%, and with good reason. I'm not sitting here downing Joe Burrow in any size, way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. He 100% deserves all the love that he's getting right now. But from a betting standpoint, again, there is I think there's better value with a team like the 49ers. I've just seen too many times
Hmm.
over the course of time when you get a defense of that caliber in a game, you give them 2 weeks to prepare for an opponent. That's when those defenses come out and excel. You just go look at what defenses like that do to good offenses. Again, go back to Denver against Carolina. Back, what was that, 2015?
Yeah.
That Carolina offense with Cam Newton was unstoppable. It was a top 3 offense. They scored points like crazy. Cam Newton was unstoppable, running all over the place.
Yeah.
I think they scored 10 points in the game because Denver just suffocated them from the beginning. The 49ers defense has that same capability. As long as they sustain no major injuries, I can back the Niners all the way.
Yeah, I like it. We'll see how it all plays out. We're going to be breaking it down, recording Pickswise playbook today with myself, Jared Smith, and Tank Williams. I'll be dropping later today. Break down everything that is the AFC and NFC conference championship games, and we'll be talking about it all week too. So make sure to stay tuned. Let's switch it on over to the hardwood right now. NBA, bringing our guy Bobby Stanley. Prop Holidays. We are about 50 games into the regular season at this point. We're in the final, I guess, 4/5 of the season, if you want to say 3/5. I don't know. Math is hard sometimes, right? Help me out. How are you?
What's going on, guys? No, we're just before All-Star break as far as NBA. It's just starting to
Yes.
get good. And NBA Wednesday night is probably the highlight of the NBA week. It's the equivalent of an NFL Sunday. I think tonight's matchups are some of the best we've seen all season. Has anyone taken a look at what the slate is tonight?
Yeah, it is.
Uh,
It is a really. I mean, we have the Nets taking on the 76ers, Timberwolves taking on the Pelicans, Nuggets, Bucks, Grizzlies, Warriors. We have some really Kings, Raptors. We have some really good games going on today.
Lot of storylines tonight, which would be some good stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Give me your first prop. What game are you looking at? What stands out to you tonight?
Well, it's Giannis, and it's the MVP showdown between him and Jokic. I found Giannis's points over 29.5, which is very, very different from the standard 32.5, 34.5 that we've been seeing. He's coming off an injury. He played against the Pistons, I think, 2 nights ago. He put up 29 points in only 26 minutes. What really makes me comfortable about him being back is he took 17 free throw attempts. So he's attacking the basket. He's getting to the rim. But it was a 20-point blowout, so he didn't have to play too much. If I look at the Nuggets, completely different team completely different team on the road. I think they're like 9-14 away. They're giving up the 7th most points in the paint. So when I see Giannis at 29.5, I have to be all over it. So I'm going over on Giannis's points tonight.
All right, as well, the Sacramento Kings, they keep scoring. We're the highest scoring team in the league, but yet you're looking to an
Yeah.
under for them tonight.
I am. There's a little bit of storyline to it to go along with the point total. So Keegan Murray, the rookie for the Kings, is playing pretty well of late. I'm going under on his points at 13.5. This is the highest his line has been in the last 10 games, but he's only hit it in 2 of the last 6. So, and look at their matchup tonight. They're playing the Raptors. Raptors are coming off a win. They're about to start a road trip, and this is really going to dictate what happens with their season. They have a 7-game road trip right before All-Star break. How they perform will really be, are they going to be buyers? Are they going to be sellers at the deadline? Fred VanVleet to the Suns we're hearing about. Apparently this week they had a defensive meeting. They were reviewing all the tape from last year because they've completely regressed as a team defensively, and it's essentially the same group. I do think they come in tonight with a little bit more urgency. And then as far as the matchup for Keegan Murray and this Raptors team, they have a lot of guys that they can throw at Murray on the perimeter. OG, Scotty Barnes, Siakam, Precious Achua. They can contest 3-point shots, which is really how Murray's been getting it done these last few games. So it's a line that's too high. It's a team coming in motivated, a really good matchup. Give me Keegan Murray under 13.5 points tonight.
Another game that I'm really interested to see how it plays out is the 76ers taking on the Nets tonight. One reason, the 76ers right now are on the 5-game win streak. They're playing really good basketball right now, but the Nets right underneath them in the Eastern Conference standings, sitting there at 4. This is going to be a battle of two very talented teams. Who do you think comes out on top of this one?
I'm going to go with the Sixers tonight. I don't know if I would take the 5 points, but they have been playing better of late. I don't know what I can count on from Ben Simmons mentally, especially playing, in Philadelphia. They're going to boo him off the court. And he fouled out. He got ejected the other night. I just don't know what to expect from him consistency wise. Kyrie Irving, his over-under's at 29.5. It seems extremely high, especially with him. You don't know where they're going. There are the players that kind of align through these two teams. Steph Curry used to be on the team. Obviously, Ben Simmons. I'm leaning the Sixers. They're playing a lot better. They're playing more motivated basketball. And I don't know if this Nets team can really stay afloat without Kevin Durant. So give me the Sixers tonight. And I have no player props I feel good about.
Well, again, I'll say this much. The Nets have kind of figured it out now, finally, how to live without Kevin Durant. They've scored 116 per game over their last 3. So I think they're starting to figure out what life without Kevin Durant looks like. I am surprised to a certain extent that even though they're on the second half of a back-to-back here, you're not going to get on the LeBron James over points total here. He's gone over 30 in 4 of his last 5. I thought the Lakers would have had a better showing last night against the Clippers and would have covered that number, getting points. I mean, granted, yes, it was against the Clippers, so it's home game, but it's not really a home game. I get the point. But, LeBron has 46 again last night. How come you're not jumping on the LeBron train?
He's questionable tonight. Him on a back-to-back. I don't know if you saw the video clips from last night, him on the bench. I mean, he's completely dejected. One thing to look forward to if you're a Lakers fan tonight, Anthony Davis is coming back, but he's going to be on a minutes restriction, anywhere from 20 to 24 minutes. I'm sure they're going to want to feed him some opportunities in the post just to get him acclimated. But as far as LeBron, it's a stay away after seeing what we saw. The post-game interview press conference, he's fed up. He's done. And I don't know what his shot attempts are going to look like with AD coming back. So it's a stay away for me, at least on that.
Do you guys want to know a fun fact? Yesterday, with LeBron scoring over 40 points against the Clippers, becomes the only player in NBA history that has 40 points against every team in the league, which is wild. That is a wild statistic. The only player ever in the history of ever to score 40-plus against all 30 teams in the NBA.
It's really cool. A lot of people I follow were on that alt line. You could have played him at 40-plus. I think it was like plus 360, plus 400. You got some odds. Eventually, it got bet down. But once these little storylines and blurbs and angles get out, they start matriculating through Twitter. A lot of those lines get bet down. But no, that was a cool one. You have to think it's not his farewell tour. We don't know how many years he has, but he wants these little notches in his belt on the way out, especially on a team that, he's got the green light. They have nothing really left to play for. Maybe they make a play-in game. So if that's what he's targeting on a nightly basis, it may be fun to play with.
Yeah. What about this Bucks Nuggets game? Who do you think comes out on top of this one? Because that spread right now is set at 8. I know you have a prop in this one, but who do you think wins?
I definitely think the Bucks win. Denver, like I said, they're 9-13 on the road this season. Completely different team. Chris Middleton is back. They finally got Joe Ingles, so I think they're really settling into what their playoff roster is going to look like. I don't think Middleton and Ingles have really played together yet this season, so I'm going to go with the Bucks. I don't know about the 8 points. I would probably lean giving the 8 points with the Bucks, because I do think they're finally shaping into that playoff roster, and the rotations will start sorting themselves out between now and after All-Star break.
I know. That's great.
Bobby, we are simpatico tonight. You are leaning on my super sharp play of the day here, so we'll get to that coming up.
Oh, that sets us up. That sets us up nicely. Bobby Stanley, we so appreciate you coming on. We'll be talking to you, obviously, all throughout Conference Championship weekend, too. But until then, have a great day. Thank you for giving us your best NBA bets.
Guys, take care.
Take care, Bobby.
Peace. That is the one, the only Prop Holiday, Bobby Stanley. Make sure to go check him out on Twitter. Read his columns on Pickswise.com. He is the best. All right, before we get into our plays of the day. I always do that. Play of the days. There's one day, multiple plays. So you have to put the S on the plays, not the days. You know what I mean? Okay. Let's bet it. Presented by our friends at Superbook Sports. Make sure to go to superbook.com or download the app today. And this season, we are all rooting for safeties. That is because Superbook will give you a $50 bonus on each safety scored this season. Just place a $100 pregame bet on any spread or any total. And if there's a safety scored in any game on Sunday, you, my friends, get a $50 bonus. Make sure to visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Now from superbook.com, let's head to Pickswise.com. There's one 3-star play of the day on the site today. Zeno, who we got?
There are actually multiple now. We have an NBA.
Now there's multiple.
Pacers and Magic. We also got a college hoops play. And if you like the ponies, you want to bet on a little ponies? You want to bet a little bit on little horsies there, Lauren? We got a
little
horse play
horsies.
up there. We're
Gotta love the horsing around. Make sure to go check it all out on Pickswise.com. You mentioned that Bobby Stanley set you up for your best bet of the day. I'm curious. Tell me. Hit me with it.
Well, this I locked in last night after doing some research, and I'm going to lay it with Milwaukee here at 7.5. I'd even lay it at 8. 8.5 might get a little bit dicey. Here's the good news for the Nuggets. They're on the tail end of a back-to-back after beating the Pelicans by 1 yesterday and only scoring 99 points. Nikola Jokic had another triple-double. Now, Denver's 4-2 straight up and 3-3 against the number on back-to-backs this year. In 5 of their 6 back-to-backs on the second half of it, they scored at least 120 points. So it doesn't seem like back-to-backs affect them. However, the Bucks dropped 150 in regulation last time out in a win over Detroit. Milwaukee averages 118 points per game at home this year, while the Nuggets are bottom third in the league in scoring defense on the road. Denver 9-13 against the number on the road this year. Bucks 16-7 ATS at home. Feels like a huge number to lay against Nikola Jokic, but I'm going to do it. I think the Bucks offense keeps rolling. They round into form here. You get the Nuggets on the tail end of a back-to-back. I'll lay the 7.5 or the 8 with Milwaukee tonight in the NBA.
I like it. I really do. A lot of points, but he feels confident, baby. Get it on in there. I'm taking mine from the court to the ice. I like the Hurricanes Stars game. And can I just make a quick note? I've hit 11 of my last 12 hockey play of the days, just saying. But who's counting, really? You know what I mean? Who's counting? Just saying, just putting it out there. I have been picking a lot of sides. I'm actually looking at a total for this game. I like the under 6 for the Hurricanes Stars game. The Canes, they're starting to figure it out after being ice cold, pun intended, at the beginning of the month. They're now 4-0-1 in their last 5 games, and I know they're averaging 4.2 goals per game, but they haven't gone up against Jake Ottinger in these last few games. I will say, the Stars lost to Buffalo in overtime on Monday, but they have 3 wins in the last 5 games. All of those wins were shutouts, which is pretty crazy. Frederik Andersen, he's returned after 2 months due to a lower body injury. In those 4 games that he's been back, he's 4-0-0 with a 1.75 goals against average and a .942 save percentage, and he's only allowed 7 total goals in those 4 games. Jake Ottinger on the other side between the pipes for the Stars. He was the story at the end of last year. He's now the story again this year. This guy is red hot. 8-2-2 in his last 12 starts. In January, he's 4-2-2, 1.74 goals against average, .940 save percentage. So both of those guys are allowing under 2 goals a game. And he's allowed 3 or less in 10 of his last 12 starts. I like the under because of this reason. And for that reason, I like the under. I know last time they played, 9 goals were scored. Everyone's making that point. Guys, that was between Antti Ranta and Scott Wedgwood. This is a battle between Jake Ottinger and Frederik Andersen, and I think it's going to be much more of a defensive game. Also, just on the season, Dallas is only allowing 2.59 goals per game, and Carolina is only allowing 2.7 goals per game. That's on average. That adds up to under 6 if my math is correct. So I like the under. You're not laying too much for it, only 22 cents. Take the under in the Stars-Hurricanes game. I'm excited to see a nice goaltender battle between the pipes between Frederik Andersen and Jake Ottinger. So let's keep this streak rolling. 10 or 11 of the last 12. Let's go.
I love your math skills.
You like what?
They are superior.
Thank
Your math skills are
Thanks. I've been working on my times tables and my division, you know? We got to get it in. I love it. That's it for us, guys. Nice, short, quick show today. Crazy. We blew through it. We'll be back again tomorrow, just in case you missed us too much. Everyone follow us on Twitter. Have a great day. Until then, peace out. Happy hump day.